welcome to the Norm Hyperbolic Podcast. We're here to talk anime, video games, and movies. I am your host, X, also known as Young Morgan Freeman. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Kid Lewis.
What up, guys? How you doing today? Welcome to the third episode, and this time we come with a special guest.
Special guest with some special sauce.
Announce yourself, bro. Let the world know who you are.
What's up, y'all? This is J to the Pizzle, aka J Big PP, aka J Lil PP, previously known as JXL PP. All PP jokes.
Oh,
but, you know, that's just me. What's up, y'all?
Listeners of the podcast know that we do a lot of PP jokes around here.
We do. Our last short that we posted was the 8 inches joke when it came to screens.
Screen
if
size.
the 8 inch is big enough for you guys when it comes to screen size.
For the Nintendo Switch.
Do you feel like it's big enough, or does it need to be bigger?
I mean, 8 inches is already pretty big. Like that, anybody asking for more is a size queen at this point. Like you can handle a lot with 8 inches.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying too. But hey, people are unimpressed of the 8-inch screen. So there's people out there that just want bigger, man. Bigger, better things.
Just have them get a Steam Deck at that point. That's like 10 inches now.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's pretty big. The Steam Decks give you carpal tunnel.
It's a lot in the hands, right?
Yeah. It's a lot to handle.
All right, so enough of the inches jokes, man. We can go on and on. Like
we can go on and on. We'll pepper it in this episode. Pepper in like some cooking. So yes. in this episode, we're going to be talking about food wars. And if you guys are listening to this day one, it should be around Thanksgiving time. So let us know what you're thankful for. And then, we'll just be doing like our regular thing. So and first for the news, we're going to be talking about Crunchyroll games. Grand Theft Auto has a radio station now. And then we're looking forward to an Haikyuu movie.
Okay.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a like. If you're listening to us on your podcast platform of choice, rate us 5-star review with a compliment sandwich. There's going to be a lot of food puns in this episode. So let us know with that compliment sandwich. Season it up real nice too.
Yeah, really hit them with the gravy train to compliments, you know?
Yes.
All
right. So if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a like, subscribe. If you're listening to this on your podcast platform of choice, leave us a 5-star review with a compliment sandwich. If you're on Apple Podcasts, I think you can leave reviews. Spotify is just a rating system. And just be sure to share this podcast with a family member or friend who likes anime and cooking for this episode.
True.
So first, let's get it. Last week's news today in the realm of anime. So if you have Crunchyroll, if you have a Crunchyroll Mega or Ultimate membership, which we do, at least for the podcast, we have a Mega membership.
Yep.
You have access to 5 free games on Android or iOS. So these are actually some pretty good games, and I have a list of them. Do you guys play mobile games?
The only mobile game I really play is Vampire Survivors, but that's like a free game online.
Okay. How is that?
It's pretty good. It's like mind-numbingly easy. It's like a little single-stick auto shooter kind of thing, almost like Survivor IO. It's like the inspiration to Survivor IO. Most people know about that one.
Okay. What about you, Lewis?
Just whatever games my kids have downloaded on my phone. So
do you find yourself playing those games though? Or?
Sometimes, just out of boredness. But like, no, I don't have like an actual game that I go to on my phone.
Okay.
You don't play Where's My Water or whatever? The one with the alligator where you have to like get the water through the...
No, unfortunately, my kids don't play that one. I play one that's like a blob and you got to go through obstacles. And if you hit an obstacle, it takes like a portion of that blob away. Something like that. Well, I don't know if you've seen it.
So I don't play too many mobile games. Like I just play the Magic the Gathering game all the time. I feel like I overplay that game. So with these games, these Crunchyroll games, I think most of them are also on the Nintendo Switch and like PS5 and PS4 and Xbox. Yeah, so there's some pretty high-end games. So the first one that we have is Behind the Frame, the Finest Scenery. It's just like a visual novel with some puzzles like thrown in, and I have the visual here. It's not that great. Like if you like visual novels, like, it's animated pretty good, but the puzzles are not that great. And then there's this other one, Captain Velvet Meteor, The Jump Plus Dimensions. It's a top-down grid RPG game. It's like one of those J-Star kind of games.
Okay. So
it has a character from Spy X Family, Hell's Paradise, and the guy from Kaiju number 8 is in this game. And I have that. It's not too bad. It's like whatever. In Bento. So this is a game that I actually play. It is a food puzzle game. So it's cubes and you just like rearrange them, just try to fucking solve the puzzles. Then there's River City Girls. This is a Scott Pilgrim looking game where it's like an arcade beat 'em up. It's actually pretty good, but I don't know. I dropped it after a while. And then Wolf Stride, which is a mecha neo noir RPG.
And so now are all of these like games on like the Apple Store, like behind like Apple Arcade paywalls, or is it like?
So you can download the game, but to have access to them for free, you'd have to just log into your Crunchyroll account. So you can log in just with the same account, like, you know, email and password, and then you'll be able to play the game.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
but straight from the app, so you don't have to like download games.
No, you download the game. You download like these games, like Inbento. If you want to play Inbento, you download Inbento,
Okay.
and then to log on,
You
to
gotta
play
log
it,
into your Crunchyroll account, like
Right.
using your Crunchyroll account.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought it was like part of the app. Like there's like a section that says like games, and
No.
you click on it, and it has like options of games you can just play straight from the app instead of having to download another app.
Online it says you can do that. Like you can download them from the Crunchyroll app. But I tried to download it there and I couldn't find it. So, but if you go to crunchyroll.com on your phone, it has a list of the games that you can download.
Yeah, I was about to say Crunchyroll is really putting in a value add if they're putting games on their anime streaming. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean the games are not too bad. Like, you know, they're hit or miss or whatever. If you like RPGs or if you like mind numbing games like Inbento, that's why I like Inbento, because I can fucking just like throw it on and just rearrange the cubes and just try to clear the levels. And the game, you know, like all games, they build on itself. So to have access to the games, you have to have either a mega fan or an ultimate fan. The mega fan is $9.99 a month, and then the ultimate is $14.99. I don't know the difference though. So I think we just have the mega fan. And they also have other games, but these games are also just free. So they have a Street Fighter Duel game, a My Hero game, and there's a new game coming out for One Punch Man. Check for those if you are so inclined. Okay. And then next, in the realm of video games. So Spotify has made a Grand Theft Auto radio station that you can access from Spotify.
No way.
How do you guys feel about the radio stations in these GTA games? Because they fucking go hard.
Some songs go hard. I feel like it's like sometimes it's like old school songs or something, but I think it just goes with the vibe of the game. Or like, you know, if you're Franklin or something like that, you want to be playing some hip hop or something like that, or
Well, it just depends on
is the black guy, right?
Yeah,
I just want to make sure. Okay.
So it just depends on what station you're playing. So if you jump into like Trevor,
then you get some country music.
He's playing country music, but you can change the station.
No, of course, you know.
But they got some fucking
nothing racial in Franklin playing some rap music while driving down the hood to pick up Franklin, right?
I mean, so it just depends. What about you? Do you have a?
I mean, personally, I love like all of the GTA 5 like radio stations. Like the amount of variety that they have with the music is just great. Like I personally have like at least 6 songs of their like radio stations on my Spotify, just
that you've discovered while playing the game.
Yeah, that I was just like, wow, this is like an absolute banger. Like I need to have this, and some of them are on my gym playlist and everything. Like it's good.
So it just depends on which station you're playing. So like at least over the last like 3 games, we have Radio Los Santos. There's a space station. West Coast Classics is the one that you're talking about, like, you know, where it's all the whole old school hip hop. They have Rock Radio, the Lowdown, Nonstop Pop. So with this Grand Theft Auto station that you can get on Spotify, it's curated off of your own listening habits. So it'll only put on songs that are like, you know, the vibe of what's in your library.
So almost like Spotify's like DJ feature.
Yeah, but then the songs that they pull or they give to you are from GTA. So there's some songs that, like, if it's already in your, like, I have a bunch of Kendrick Lamar on my shit already. So he's in GTA 5. Yeah. So the songs that he's in on that, you know, they had in this curated station. But then there's other artists that I don't listen to or don't have that are on the game that's in this. So it's 100 songs from over the game's history, curated to your existing Spotify library and like songs.
But they still won't come out with GTA 6.
It's coming out soon, man.
It's coming out soon.
Oh, yeah?
At the beginning of next month, December.
They're going to drop the first trailer.
They're dropping the first trailer for GTA 6.
Okay, they dropped Elder Rim's trailer like however long ago, and they still haven't come out with that game. So I'm not holding my breath for Rockstar, bro.
I mean,
it is coming.
It's going to come out.
It's coming.
I'd rather them take their time than rush it. You know, especially since we already been waiting this long.
Right.
What's an extra couple of more months?
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
you know
technically, Red Dead Redemption 2 was their like pseudo GTA 5 or 6.
Yeah. Just like taking it back to the old West.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the graphics on that game was amazing.
It was good.
So
just
pretty.
Everything.
Well, there's a bunch of rumors always coming out about that game. And I know in GTA or GTA, Red Dead Redemption 2, like the longer you play the game, like the guys, his beard and their hair grow.
Yeah, so that was like a rumor.
So you have to like go get it cut.
Haircut.
In this new one, it's going to be the same way.
GTA San
Andreas.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think there was like a part of the game where you can work out and like that would like boost up your strength and stamina and stuff like that. And I think they're bringing that back to the game to make it more realistic. Like,
yeah, that'll be great.
Like you got to work out. If you stop working out, maybe you just get fatter, so you can see your character actually gain weight and stuff like that and get slower.
Oh my god!
Same thing like you were saying with that haircut. Like after a while, if you don't get a haircut, your character just starts growing a beard.
Well, the rumor that I heard recently is that the character is going to age as you play the game. So like every like couple hours or whatever, you'll see him like physically age, him or her, because there's going to be a female protagonist in this one too. So
yeah. No, I'm excited for GTA 6, man.
Yeah.
They're just, it's going to be crazy.
Spotify creating this playlist is like, or this radio station is bigging up hype that's going to go in with the trailer that's going to drop at the beginning of December. So there's no, and it's just songs. So there's no news stations from the game. There's no commercials, because usually when you're listening to the radio in that game, they have like wild shit come, or talk shows and things like that.
What is like one? They have like church chicken or something like that. Come eat at church chicken.
They have like
we got a buck for a fry or something. I don't know, like some bullshit like
some
that.
Shit.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun and funny.
We'll cluck if you buck.
Yeah.
So, and then just something I wanted to add is I wish there would be like an anime podcast in the next GTA 6. How would you feel about that?
An anime podcast?
If the Norm anime podcast in one of the stations.
That'd be dope.
GTA 6.
That would be pretty cool.
Maybe your character's listening to,
Like if you could listen to outside music, is that what you mean?
I mean, there's...
Because I think that's something they've done in the past, right?
No, if you're playing on your Xbox or PlayStation, you can play Spotify, but it won't come
synchronized from the game, right?
Yeah, like you get out of the car and the music's still playing.
No, but I think that would be pretty cool if you can like synchronize so like an action. So like you don't have to listen to all their music. So they don't have like a huge catalog of everything. Yeah. But that'd be pretty cool if you could like access your Spotify through the game itself, and then you can play any song you want.
That would be cool.
Or almost podcast.
Yeah, or podcast. Yeah, you play your SoundCloud rappers.
Exactly. Since they're trying to make it so more realistic,
Yeah.
You're driving down whatever new map, and a car you just stolen, 5 stars. You got a police behind you, and you're just playing a little podcast. You know what I mean? You're playing the Norm.
Yeah. All right. So last in the realm of movies. So I had 2 bits of movie news, and every time I do the news, at least, and this is only our second episode with the guests, I'm trying to curate it so it's like something that we all can get excited about. So I didn't know how hip or up on like Marvel you were. So, and the news I have for that wasn't even that big, but what I landed on was there's a new Haikyuu movie that's coming out in 3 months. We just recently got to the 3-month countdown mark for this movie. Have you seen or heard of Haikyuu?
Not at all. That is so foreign to me.
It is a anime about volleyball. So you may have seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen that in like manga shops and stuff like that, but never read it.
Or like thumbnails. Like,
so there's a movie of it coming out?
There's a movie coming out in 3 months. Like,
you know, it's funny because I used to watch that anime like every episode, every season. And I don't know what season I ended up just stopping. And I just kind of like never picked it up afterwards. But it's a really good anime when it comes to like the hype of like sports and just being extra with it. Like when they slap the volleyball and then you get like, you get involved with the anime and you feel it. Like,
no, it's a good sport anime.
It is.
How do you feel about volleyball? Do you
I mean, volleyball? I used to play a little bit of like beach volleyball from time to time, but honestly, I'm more cooking than anything.
Okay. Well, so I don't like Lewis. I don't know where it ends or if it even has ended. But the way that they phrase it is the first part of a 2-part final project that's going to premiere in theaters in Japan February 16th. So no words on a release date for North America, but just doing the research for the episode. Usually those movies take like 3 to 6 months to drop in America once they release in Japan. So I don't know. Maybe the next season or whatever we can do an episode on it, but that's probably going to be a movie that we do a review on. So that's why I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, so it's still in like the first trimester of American release.
Yeah, or not even yet, because it's 3 months before it releases in Japan. So imagine another 3 to 6 months is when we'll get it here. So, and that's just the first part. So it's a 2-part series. But the way they have it phrased, final project. So I don't know if it is ended, and it like this is going to be the last 2 movies before
for the finale.
So
we could have. You know what? The other day I was just thinking about Attack on Titan since we did that episode
Right.
the finale. I was just thinking like since it was an hour and 30 minutes long, could they have just dropped that in movie theaters? Could it have been an option?
I think so, man.
You seen it, right? You saw the finale or?
I am still catching up with it. I haven't
Actually,
really,
no
I haven't
spoilers,
gotten right
Louis.
to the end, but I have heard a couple spoilers where like it
I was
is
like, it's
just
been
a
everywhere.
very lackluster ending where it should have been so much better. Almost like the Game of Thrones ending. Like
Yeah.
where it could have used a lot more like polish and stuff like that and like tied up some loose ends. But I'm still very much catching up with
Was there loose ends? I felt like they tried to close it off as good as possible. Do you feel like there was loose ends? I know this. I don't think that's something we talked about on
We
the
didn't. Yeah,
podcast about.
I just
any loose
like was
ends.
giving praise about how it did end because there's a lot that goes on in that damn anime. So I think it was like decent and respectable how they closed it off. And even if there was loose ends, like, you know, even when we were talking about the One Piece, I think that's like nitpicking. Like it depends on what, if it's something big and glaring, then yeah. But if it's like something small, like then
True.
to take away from like this big, the twists and turns, like, you know, we talked about it in our episode, so I don't want to re-talk it, but that fucking anime is really, really good. Like throughout, it's long, but, and maybe there's an argument about if it was worth the wait, but I feel like, you know, they did a decent attempt at ending.
But so, like, back to like my question: do you think
Right. Oh,
it could have
and-
been like a movie theater finale?
I think it could have been. I don't know if it would stand on its own as a
don't
movie
think so?
theater. Because I think Mugen Train stands on its own. Like you don't have to see season
But the
one
reason it stands on its own is because it's like
all on the train.
all in a train, so it's just kind of like an arc. Which is the finale is there's no arcs. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
all
exactly.
like. Well, there is arcs because they do leave the island. So I guess from them leaving the island and
Yeah, but all three
to
episodes,
the mainland, it is an arc, I guess.
All
But
three
I'm-
episodes was on Aaron's back. So is
That's
that
true.
is that the train? You know?
Right. So I feel like it could have been a movie. I would have went to watch it just to watch the finale.
Yeah,
I think they would have made more money out of that.
I think so. But I mean, the people who do it is a different anime house than like UFO Table. So like they have their shit like together as far as like their releases. So this is just done by a whole different.
Well, this last one was done by Mappa.
Right.
You want to talk about Mappa a little bit?
No.
No?
We'll talk about it in a different episode.
I don't want to talk about something that is old news or a whole different episode.
I mean, I don't have anything new to talk. Do you have anything about Mappa?
Well, you know, there's the stuff that's, you know, we posted on our Instagram about a little bit of what's going on with Mappa. I mean, we don't try to go into like full details because, you know, it's just more like, you know, what people have posted, what people are talking about. But just like the things that we talked about in the past or like, you know, just sprinkled through our episodes about these studios basically overworking these animators and underpaying them. And, you know, and then just the work ethics in Japan itself, how it's way much different than here in the United States or even in Europe. It's, you know, have you heard of like their work ethics in Japan?
I've heard of like overworking them like crazy and that like respect like sleeping at your job because you're like working so hard. But is Mappa the one that is paying their like writers more and stuff like that, or is that a different anime house?
What studio was that?
TMS.
Oh,
TMS
gotcha.
Entertainment.
Yeah, so
and they're doing big things too. So we will get more into it. We'll get into it proper. But you know what Lewis is talking about is the new shit that with Jujutsu Kaisen, that it might be delayed or canceled because they don't have the staff
anymore
to do it.
There's some people like quitting because of how overworked they are and just the amount of perfection that Mappa wants for these animes and the amount of people they have to like actually do it is like basically having people work like Monday to Sunday, like crazy hours and overtime, and they're not even getting paid overtime.
Yeah, like 13 hours a day, 7 days a week kind of thing. I mean, the guy that illustrated Berserk, like the single writer that did all of it, he was under so much pressure, like having to put out a chapter every 2 weeks or something like that. He was giving himself heart attacks.
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine that a whole studio house that has to do all of that consistently to like continue that progress is just going to be it's crazy. Like it's a
tall order.
They have a lot. They have a lot of respect in my book.
They do.
I know. We have an episode that we're going to do to give them the respect and to, you know, cause some awareness.
Well, this is your early respect. How about that?
Man, like Lewis said, we do talk about it like throughout episodes. Like it is like something that we do have a lot of
I mean, on the episode is going to come up where we talk about the studio. It's going to be more like questions that we might have because I have never really dived into these studios.
No, I'm going to do proper
multiple
research.
Studios out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, you brought it up in the news about TMS, you know, increasing their salaries for their employees, like what, up to like 30%?
30% for people who work there already. And then 23% for people who are jumping ship and, you know, like of market value. So like if a writer gets paid $50K, for example, then 20% more than that if you join with us, TMS Entertainment.
Yeah.
And they do good stuff, man. They have Dr. Stone, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but they're even doing live action shit.
Yeah.
So and they do Megalobox. And
but they're an older studio. Mappa is actually a newer one.
Right.
They've only been out since like 2009, so they're like kind of
pretty
like the
young
new
in the
guys.
anime game.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the reason they're so well known is because of the quality.
They do good work, man.
Oh, they do beautiful work.
Yeah.
I don't know have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yeah, I saw the first season, and that thing is, oh my god, it is stunning.
Second season, you're gonna be blown away, man.
Really,
I haven't started.
Blown away, and not just blown away because of the story, just the animation.
Yeah, man. It's the boxing. It's those fights, bro.
The fights.
the fights are always insane.
Man, you seen the Broly movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see how sometimes it gets like in the fight scenes, it gets like really choppy,
Yes.
the quality downgrades, like the quicker they fight.
Yeah, that they can't handle the animation.
With Jujutsu Kaisen, it does not feel like. I feel like every little like frame, they just have it to the T in the details. And that last episode, which I shouted out on episode 17 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, that episode was like a chef's kiss on it. Like God himself came down and was like, we're going to bless these people. Like,
oh, very nice.
It was so beautifully done, man. Like I've never seen it done like that. And it was like, it wasn't like a tight scene where it was just like hand-to-hand combat. Like it was like the background, the buildings, like just the attention to detail in the little stuff that you wouldn't even notice. You like, damn, like I can even see the chair being sliced in the background. Like that's how perfect the detail was.
That's crazy.
That was good. Even with the Attack on Titan episode, like that shit with Mikasa, like at the end, like just all the ODM gear stuff.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
No, they're really good at what they do, but it just sucks that Mappa really, as the studio itself,
abuses.
They suck. But the animators that they have,
we'll save it, bro, because there's a bunch of different sides to the story. So I want to like do a good deep dive on it. On to the meat and potatoes.
Meat and potato, time to grub. You ready to eat, bro?
Are you ready?
You ready to cook?
I chefed it up a little bit.
I'm starving, bro. Let's chef it up.
All right, bet.
Well, you ready to dice some onions, some peppers, throw it in the pan,
In the saucier pan.
In the wok.
throw a little bit of olive in there, olive oil in there, and just
Hey man, you're making
make
me
ourselves some stir fry.
Saute up that mirepoix.
Oh man, okay, we got the right guest for this episode. All right, so. All right.
Yep.
Food Wars, Shokugeki no Sama. All right, so it was written by Yuto Sakuda and drawn by Shun Saki. Serialized in Weekly Shonen from November 2012 to June 2019. Weekly Shonen from November 2012 to June 2019. 6.5 years is when the anime was serialized. Or the manga. Then the anime went for 5 seasons from April of 2015 to September of 2020. Each season was titled with like a plate number. So it was like Food Wars, plate 1, plate 2, plate 3, all the way up to plate 5. So I wanted to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about just anime food in general? Like, why does anime food look so good if you think it does?
Go for it, man.
Oh my God. I love anime food. Like that stuff always kills me. Like I get so hungry. Like the first experience that I had with anime food was Spirited Away. Like when the parents are there in that like town and they see like all the food and they're just pigging out and then they get converted into pigs.
Right.
Like
right.
I saw all that food and I was just like, oh my gosh, I am hungry.
Does it sometimes look better than real food?
Yes.
Like,
It does.
Does it, like,
it just looks so glossy
It
and
does.
like just unctuous and you just like want to like dive your face into it.
It makes me hungry.
No,
For
it
sure.
does. There's a movie on Netflix. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a ramen movie. I don't know if you guys seen it.
Anime?
It's an anime. And oh my God, they make ramen look so yummy. And it's like the animation is like perfection. Like it's glycering. You can hear the chops of like the vegetables, the noodles, just the broth being poured onto the bowl, the steam coming out of it. You know what I mean? And then, oh man, I love that anime. And it's literally what's beautiful about that anime is like, it's about this character, and I can't remember his name either. I can't remember the name of the show or the name of the character, but
So you remember the food?
I remember the food. That's the most important part of the movie. And he like talks about just the ramen his grandma used to make when he was younger. Like coming from school, his grandma would make him like this freaking delicious homemade ramen. And it was something that it was doable because it's cheap to make. You know what I mean? You really don't need, and it's healthy for you, and it has a lot of protein if you want to add protein, and of course the vegetables, you know?
Yeah, it's a beautiful base for like whatever you want.
Exactly. So I guess his grandma passes away and he's like visiting his hometown, and there's this restaurant, and he says he loves the restaurant because it reminds him of his grandma's home cooked noodles, or like the ramen itself, and then like just the beautiful artistic drawing of the ramen being made, and you know, and the way they capture it, and it's just like, wow, it really makes you like, damn, I kind of want a piece of that.
Yeah, a piece of the ramen.
Yeah, or I want to go get some ramen or something. But it's delicious. It just looks delicious, appetizing. Like,
yeah, I definitely
want to be a part of that world.
I definitely get jealous that they're in that world and I'm not. I want to be in there.
I know, like just eggs and bacon and
they just make it look so
cakes.
nice.
Yeah.
Perfection. It's really what it looks like. Perfection, man.
Legitimately. I strive to make anime food.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, we had our Friendsgiving or whatever, and I made jalapeno poppers, but it didn't come out as attractive as I wanted it. It still tasted good, but I don't know, just with anime food, like it looks delicious. Like it looks like there's no way that could be disgusting.
Yeah.
Even if it's undersalted or, you know,
all right.
whatever. So you had mentioned Spirited Away. So I think Studio Ghibli, especially like with their movies and like the high quality of the animation, they're really all about like high quality anime food. So when you see it in like Naruto or whatever, when they eat the ramen, it does still look good, but like that fucking
when they go into
mouth watery
details.
Yeah, they don't put the attention to detail like Studio Ghibli does.
Yeah, really. So I mean, they do with Food Wars because you know that's the focus, but just in general, like anime movies, usually that's where they shine is with the food. Because they always have like, you know, a beach scene and a breakfast scene, or fireworks.
Yeah.
So those are like some anime staples.
Oh, I like when they do like that like summer festival in Japan where they have like, you have to wear like those commodes, and then they go into like those little festival and they play games, and then they have like street food and like whatever they're like little circular things, but they come like in stick.
Teppanyaki.
Yeah, and then just with the glaze, like teriyaki glaze or some whatever glaze they put on top of it, it looks so yummy. Like you want to be a part of that. And then the fireworks at night. Oh, man. You know what I mean? It looks so beautiful. You're like,
their summer solstice festival.
Yes,
it just looks so fun. Every time I see it, I'm just like, man, I want to be out there so bad.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man. One of these days, man, when the capital starts coming in,
I know
we'll be able to go visit like Japan and Tokyo, maybe even during the summer, just to like
that's the plan.
Experience that. And then just record it.
That's the plan.
2024 goal. Episode abroad.
Yeah. The hyperbolic Tokyo trouble, whatever.
Tokyo ghoul takeover.
Tokyo takeover,
man. Just like Teen Titans.
Yeah. All right, so back to Food Wars. As far as like, so we watched a good amount of the anime, and I didn't want to get into like their video games and movies, but what do you guys think of the show like overall? Like favorite characters and moments?
Oh, you want to jump into that right away?
Jump into it, man. It's the Food Wars episode.
All right, man. Damn, I thought we were advertising first, but you want to get to the main course?
I mean, we can do a little appetizers. So do you have any other Food War or food examples?
Well, actually, I wanted to start with games. I didn't know they had games.
They do have games.
I'd rather start with that and then jump into like what's our favorite characters and moments and what we think of the anime itself.
Okay, so video games. So Food Wars in 2015, they released a Food Wars mobile game. It's called Food Wars Shokugeki no Sama: The Ultimate Recipe. This was published by Bandai Namco, and they make most of the anime video games that are out there. So all the Naruto, Ninja Storm games are by Bandai Namco.
The Dragon Ball Z, like Budokai games.
Those are like mostly Bandai Namco, Jump Stars, Jump Force, like, even like Street Fighter or Street Fighter's Capcom, but like when they do any of those like Japanese looking games, I think like Dead or Alive is also Bandai Namco. So they made this game for the phone, and it's kind of like a Guitar Hero kind of looking game. So I have it here, and in the video version we'll have the visual aids, but basically it's it's the anime, and then you just like help chop all the onions you have to be like rhythmic with it. So that's something that I wanted to ask you, special guest JP, is because something in the show that I wanted to talk about is like, you know, how he always has to improvise. But I feel like besides quality ingredients, like how much do you think being able to chop and mince and slice like and peel, like how much of your cooking skills can you taste in your finished product food? Like if you cut it too wide or the wedges aren't, you know.
So when it comes to like that kind of stuff, like preparation and mincing and all of that,
right?
There is a purpose for it. Like, for example, garlic. Like if you get a whole clove of garlic, it's not going to be as garlicky as if you have minced garlic. So there's a time and place for everything. But what is mainly important is just the technique that you use when it comes to actually cooking. Like, are you letting your meat brown enough? Are you seasoning every step of the way? Are you adding an acid into something that's very rich to wake it up? That kind of stuff. Like, yes, technique is important in how fine you mince, but if you're not like in a Michelin star restaurant where you have to have like quarter wad piece of like little tiny shallot or whatever, like a little big chunk or a bigger chunk isn't going to throw it off. It's just going to be a little bit of mouthfeel. But like for the most part, it really is a lot of experience is what makes a good cook. Like a home cook will never amount to, well, I don't want to say will never amount to a chef, but a chef is a chef because they've put in their 1,000 hours of practice and learned everything there is to know about one particular thing or multiple particular things. Like there's a lot of knowledge that goes into cooking that doesn't get transferred just off of how well you can cut an onion. Like there's a lot more steps that is involved in that. Like Cooking Mama is a good game compared to this one. Like Cooking Mama actually makes you cook.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, for this one, it is, like I said, just, you know, ups and downs. It's almost like Dance Dance Revolution or Tap Tap. You know, it just has like the aesthetic or the skin of Food Wars. So you do play as like Soma and you go against like all these different other chefs that are in the show. They have that game. And then they also have a visual novel. So a visual novel that was also released by Bandai Namco. It's called The Dish of Friendship and Bonds on the Nintendo 3DS. So the gimmick or whatever about that game is that it's voiced by the original cast of characters in the subbed. So this is one of those games that I know Lewis and I used to like order games from Japan and have them shipped over here. Because this one only came out in Japan. So I think you can still get it now, like on eBay. It's like $16. But before you would have to like ship that shit over here. Those are the video games that they have. And then, so to what you're talking about, JP, I just think that's part of like Food Wars is like Soma and all the chefs, like to be, like you said, a respectable chef, like you have to have the practice in how to like mince and chop and things like that. So the thing about Food Wars is that, you know, all the techniques are there and it's all true recipes, but when they eat, and I think it's only when they eat Soma's food, it is orgasmic.
So they play a huge role on like that part of like the orgasmic, which is weird. Well, it's not weird because food, you know, people do get like some orgasms from food, or not like actual orgasms, but like just like, like, damn, that hit the spot. Like that was right. Or just like a orgasm of like in your palate of your mouth. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. A moist turkey will make me moist.
Yeah. But they do play like a huge part of it, which is like the ecchi stuff where like they get like, especially when the people judging the food, they try it and then they have like this weird play of them like clothes ripping off or like, or if their plate is like about octopus, like they'll have like tentacles like wrap around them, like how you feel like the tentacles
like the food is embracing you,
kind of like thing. It's embracing them, but it looks very ecchi. And then, you know, the sounds that they make, so like if somebody would come in your room when you're watching that part, it's like, what are you watching?
I know,
right? Like
it's hard to and
you're like
watch.
no, it's about food, I promise. It's like, you know, this octopus wrapping around this lady's boobs, I promise it's about food. She's just embracing the octopus dish that they presented.
Isn't there a whole thing in anime culture of fan service, like where they'll like say there's like a shower scene, they don't have to show you the lady or the man showering, but they're going to give you like a little cheeky, like kind of like you see them steamy in the shower kind of thing. Like that is what people kind of go for. And I feel like that's what Food Wars like really leans heavily into, is like, it's such a like primal, like eating is very primal,
right?
In a certain extent. So how much more primal can you get than in your birthday suit?
I think so.
But I also understand Lewis's point where it's like you cannot watch this like out loud and like just have someone walking by because they're like, bro, are you watching porn?
Even from another room. Like I was watching it like for this episode and I had to watch this shit with the door closed, bro, because even like sub or dub, like the noise that they make, and it's like it's so elongated and
it's every time. It's not like every once in a while they'll present like a fucking god dish. It's every time, because almost every episode they're having a food war. Like they're having what do they call it? Shokugans?
Shokugeki.
Yeah, they don't do the food wars until like maybe the 5th episode in, like once he gets established into the school, but that's when they start with the food wars. And I was like, oh man, this is the food wars that we're talking about.
Did either of you happen to watch the episode that had meat in it?
Yes, I do like
the butcher.
That is my favorite episode. I'll just get it,
is it because of the fan service thing?
No, it's because of what my favorite food is. So rice. I just love rice. Rice is my favorite food. Like if I have a daughter, like her name is going to be Jasmine, named off of my favorite rice.
Jasmine arroz.
Yeah. Condoleezza, bro. So I just with her episode, she talks about like the rice bowl, and she uses the meat girl. She uses like the most expensive meats.
Yeah.
And so they talk about it in the episode.
Because her family owns like
a meat
meat
distribution.
What is it, like 8 grade?
A5 Wagyu.
Yeah.
Yes. Flies in the face of like mom and pop restaurants because they can't afford that, high end quality meat, but they still present good food. Mm-hmm. So at least in the episode, and I just, like you said, real primal. I just love rice and I love bowls. I just love being able to like just eat everything. I hate salads, but I like chicken bowls, steak bowls, or whatever. So they talk about, and I should have written it down, like the purpose of a bowl. Like a bowl is like a man's food. A bowl is like just for like this dumb guy who just wants to eat everything that's in front of him and not have to think too much about anything. And that's like a thing for me, is I'm always trying to get like the same amount of stuff. It's like a mixture.
It's like something you can just. It's like ice cream. Like you just go at it and then you just keep going. And that's how he won that competition itself, because he
just used all that shit.
Yeah, because she was like
the bowl.
Exactly. And that's the thing too.
He highlighted the rice.
He highlighted the rice. She highlighted the meat, and that's how she lost, because the meat itself can fool you up as quickly, and they didn't finish the dish compared to his, where the meat was in the bottom and all the sauce was on top of the rice, where they had to dig for it, and the rice won't fill you up as quick as meat does. So once they hit the bottom part, that's what they're like, oh my god, it's like dessert at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what he presented. And that's how he won that, even though he used fucking store-bought meat. And they were like, the disrespect on this kid. Like,
it was like, did you get that meat on discount? And he was like, oh yeah, I got it for like 1,000 yen.
They were throwing it away.
Yeah. This is expired.
Yeah.
And he still won. You know what I mean?
So is that one of your favorites?
Because he highlighted what the dish was, which was a rice bowl. It wasn't a meat bowl.
Right.
And it was one of like my more enjoyable episodes, just because of like this one actually showed him kind of theorizing, like actually practicing a recipe and like going through a bunch of tests and stuff like that. And then like,
I think it was his first food war.
Yeah.
No.
Or was it?
Was it? I think it was. I think it was either
his first or second, but I know that like that was the first time that I had seen like him actually put some work in and not just like whip something up like in the first couple episodes of him like going into the school. I'm just like, kid, how do you know this? You're 14.
No, I mean, he's been practicing with his dad.
His dad was like 3. Top chef.
Yeah.
He's
you're
like
right,
number
2
cooking food in New York.
Yeah, that's true.
I love his dad too, because he's like this low key master. I like
their relationship. Because I feel like there's a lot of respect.
His name is Joichiro.
Okay,
and like he reminds me. I don't know. Have you guys seen Baki?
A little bit.
Okay, so Baki and his dad, like that dynamic they have where his son is trying to like basically surpass him. That's how it feels like on this one. Like like they're always competing, like which they always are.
Like a student and master kind of thing.
And his son is always trying to like surpass him. And we know like what's his name? Soma is good at what he does, but his dad is even better. Like how somehow he can elevate a dish even higher than his son can. And it's like, like that he has to like beat his dad in order to basically feel like, okay, I'm better than you, dad. But his dad is like low key, like this secret spy too at the same time, because he's always going to like different parts in the world.
I know
he's in Paris.
You don't get that. One moment
he's in Tokyo.
Yeah,
and then he's like, I gotta close the shop down for 3 years. I'm traveling, but I'm gonna send you to this like crazy cooking boarding school. You'll be fine. I've teached you the skills you need to get by, and which he did, because he does get by, even in like the entrance exam. Where he had to have what's her name? Arena.
Oh my god.
The tongue.
God's tongue.
God tongue.
Yeah, like she was the one testing all their food and basically said like, if I reject you, like you're gonna be rejected from the food world. Like,
you're blackballed entirely.
And everybody left except him. He was like, no, I'm good for this.
I know.
And all he made was literally a rice dish with like melting eggs on top of it.
Yeah, the cubes. The cubes.
Yeah. Cube eggs
with a gelatinized chicken stock.
Yeah. And then she like ate it and then just like little
busted right there. She got naked.
Oh my god.
She got naked and then like his face was added to these little tiny chicks popping out of eggs and just like embracing her. And she could not admit it that this low key regular Joe restaurant guy
that's so flawed
made her bust.
That should upset me when she was like, you're not getting in, and I was like, come on man, what are you doing, what are you talking?
Just for his grandfather to taste the dish and his clothes bust off. Like
that's what it was.
I mean, I will say, going back to the fan service thing, like just since we're talking on busting clothes off and all that, I will say that I do appreciate how this show kind of gives it for both types of viewers. Like if you like women, you get plenty of women. If you like men,
old men,
also get plenty of either old muscular men
or
young fit virile guys. Like
there's a guy.
It's a flavor for everybody.
There's like they do like a sleepover or whatever, and he's just naked in the apron. I think
he's one of the 7 or one of the 10.
I think he's number 7 of the 10.
There we go.
And yeah, man, no, it's really nice.
It's erotic as fuck.
It's super erotic. So
it is.
What I wanted to touch that is I don't think that I have the best food palate though. I don't think my taste buds are like refined at all.
Oh, you don't got God's tongue?
I don't have God's tongue. So like a friend of mine, she's really good into cooking, or she's really into cooking. She's good at it. But I was, telling her my troubles that I just don't have like that palate or whatever. And she says that you can cook with scent. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you feel about that?
There's this guy, isn't a character there, an Indian guy, I think, that he usually cooks just like spice, and he can like smell the aroma and know like what to add and what not to add, or like what's overpowering just from the smell.
I think if I were to cook, I would have to lean into that because when you should always taste the food for sure, but I don't know what like I'm looking for. As far I can tell if something's too salty, but it's hard for me, even with the Friendsgiving, like making the rice. I was trying to see what I needed and I couldn't really get it, but it came out fine. But
do you add garlic to your rice?
I did, yeah, garlic salt.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it called for garlic powder, but I was just like, well, let me, and then I just add like the sazon and all that shit that it usually comes with. But
what you mean, like yellow rice?
I mean, just gandules.
Oh, okay.
No, it was delicious.
Yeah, with the tomato paste and. You just follow the recipe. It's not like baking, but when you cook, I think you do need a little bit of like hands-on versus like just 3 eggs, flour, bake, preheat and all that shit.
Yeah, cooking's more like freestyle versus like baking, which is like a direct recipe. But getting back to what you were saying about like going off of scent versus off of taste,
right?
I definitely think that there's credence there. Like I remember as a kid, I used to like my grandma always used to be like, hey, try these beans for me. And I got to the point where I was just like, man, I don't want to try beans anymore, man. I'm
right.
farting all day.
Right.
And so I would legit just like go over the pot and like sniff it. And if it is seasoned right, you can tell like it smells wildly different. Like I would be able to tell if it didn't have enough salt.
Off
like,
the smell.
Yes. Off because it smells different, because salt brings out volatile oils, which is what allows for aroma. Like that's why you don't add garlic right in the end or in the beginning, because it's so volatile that you're getting a real hard punch of garlic. You want to cook it down, reduce it or whatever. So like, I definitely think that there's a balance between the two. Like you always should taste your food, but then also when you taste it and know what it tastes like, then the smell, you can kind of relate that smell to that taste. And it also just comes with practice. Like, again, your experience allows you to be more like well-versed in knowing what to go for.
But what was like great about this anime too is like you said, like as a chef itself, you have to know your lane. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like you said, you put in hours in that lane, like that criteria. Like in the show, there's like you said, there's a meat girl. She like her main criteria is meat, like all types of meat. Like that's what she's good at. There's a guy named Ryu, I think, and he's like seafood. Like I think all types of seafood, fish, how to cut it. Like again, that's also a whole skill on its own that you would have to learn. The guy that does seasonings, like that's his go-to, like just mixing with different seasonings and what goes with what and what doesn't and how to add. Like that's his go-to ability. So, and our main guy Soma, I feel like he's more like he tries to grasp a little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
He's definitely the jack of all trades of the show, 100%.
Yeah, but he does still have character growth. Like he's not like, you know, he wins a lot of his food wars, but he definitely earns it. And he's definitely like, you know, they try to sabotage him in some of the episodes and then he has to improvise. So that's the thing that I like about his, you know, the thing that you were talking about, like his first couple episodes, it is him just improvising and using leftovers and, you know, they fucking ruin all the meat in his family's restaurant. So, but he had like bacon that he was going to cook for breakfast. So he uses that and wraps it with, or wraps a potato and, you know, serves that up. So that's what I think, you know, is really good about him as a character in this show where everybody has like their strengths and things like that. So he is like my favorite character. I know it's kind of cliche, but I don't really like, you know, have another character that I like more than Soma.
Do you have a favorite character?
I mean, I personally like I forget her name, but the blue-haired chick that is
Megumi?
always
that he partners
Megumi.
with. Yeah,
I really like her just off of just like the way that she helps Soma with everything that he does. Yeah. Like I like her as a support character, but I also like when she cooks by herself. Yeah. She whips up some pretty fire stuff. Like her food is
I
pretty
think
good looking.
Her food is more orientated to like home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
it has a homey feel to it.
That's her skill, I guess, in the anime. Is like her cooking style is home, like to bring you home, to make you feel like, you know, this is cooked by somebody, a loved one. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I have a question for you guys. In watching the show or anything like that, did you pick up any techniques from like what the show gave?
So I picked up some techniques about the rice bowl episode because you know, that's like a food that I cook a lot is rice, you know, in rice bowls. So I did like having like, you know, the meat at the bottom and then having, even with like the entrance exam of having like the food still cook while it's on the plate, like shit like that. So, you know, I was watching this because I was watching this and MasterChef. So I was just back and forth. And then I look into my pantry and I'm just like, trying a bunch of shit. So I didn't really like pick up on anything like verbatim. And I kind of do want to do that, but just like certain techniques. That's why one of my first questions was, how do you feel? What's the importance of like being able to chop? Because I feel like that's like a skill that I don't have yet is like, you know, being able to give good chops. And I can stir a pot, but you know.
So like there's a Peruvian dish called lomo saltado. Oof. And their onions is like long strips. Okay. Because that's just the way the dish is presented. So I do see what you're saying too, like learning like what dish would be good with like diced, like really chopped and fine or a little bit thicker. But like I know for that dish itself, usually the onion is cut like long ways, like taste. But I can't tell you if it's a reason why it's cut that way. Is it for presentation? Is it because it tastes better it being longer? Like you know what I mean? At that part, I can't tell you. So I kind of see what you're saying. Like, when do you know how to cut an onion a certain way does it give it extra flavor to the dish? Like if you cut it too fine, does it take away from the onion taste? You know what I mean?
So a lot of it, like with any of that preparation, like say you want to like mince something super fine and you don't want the onion to be a star of the show. Yeah. Then you would mince it up really fine so that it just blends in with whatever other texture you want. But in your example, like lomo salteado, I have had that hundreds of times and it's so good. But you want the onion to be a star.
Star of it,
like you want that bite of meat and then the bite of onion and then the bite of peppers and then a little bit of the French fry and all of them. But if you notice, everything is about the same size. Like you want the bits and pieces all to be very similar. Like, for example, like you wouldn't want to have stir fry and then the chunks of onion be bigger than every single other thing. Like, it's kind of knowing the dish that you want and what you want the stars of your food to be. Like, that's why you very finely mince onions and garlic for sauces, because you don't want chunks of onion in your sauce. You want the sauce to be the star.
Or even like an onion powder. Like, that's what I was using, like, to cook the food.
Cool little tip of free game.
Yeah.
Moist or activate your powders in a little bit of water. It wakes them up and it makes them a lot more pungent and flavorful. So you have to use less.
Like before I throw it into the...
Yeah, just in like a little pot or something like that, or like a little bowl. Just wet it a little bit and then just toss that all into your food and you will notice a difference almost immediately.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No, very nice. Very nice. So just some more stuff about Soma. And this show, on top of being like real... true with recipes and cooking techniques. It is super funny. And they have like how you're talking about the fan service, like, you know, the orgasmic scenes and everybody's clothes is falling off. But he has this thing and like he wants all the smoke with this school. He's the only transfer student that's able to transfer. And then he gets on the mic and he's like, hey, you know, this school is a real good stepping stone, but I'm just going to be the top person at this school. And then he just walks off and everybody hates him. You know, you cheer for him because he's like the underdog in a way. But then when he gets on top, he impresses all the teachers. But he has like this scene where he tries to feed people disgusting food. And that shit was just so funny to me. Like, I don't know why he does that. He has like this grilled squid tentacles dressed in peanut butter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that like kind of like, doesn't that fly in the face of like the Hippocratical oath of a chef of like not serving people disgusting food? It's the episode where him and that girl become friends. Like they, you know, because she's like one fucking fail away from dropping out and going back home. So then she teams up with him, and then, you know, with their like chemistry, they're able to get ahead in that episode. So at the end, it's like a real good moment. Like they're looking like they're going to be best friends forever, maybe even man and wife. And then he's like, oh my God, I would just love to have one of your cookings. He's like, oh yeah, I have something for you. And then he fucking pulls out the squid tentacle with peanut butter, and then he eats it. And then the way she describes it just violates her. Like, what do you feel about that?
And then that's when the octopus tentacle wraps all the way around her, and that's when you gotta lock your door.
All over her body.
Yes, man. I'm just
the
like,
etchy part of the show.
Oh my God. So I had like a situation where I had to like switch from my signature mac and cheese dish to now doing like gandules and, you know, jalapeno poppers. I know it's only been one Friendsgiving, but I was doing mac and cheese like every year for like 5+ years. But I had this situation where somebody tried my mac and cheese. It was kids, and kids are always like your best critics as far as like food. But these kids did not like it, and I broke my heart. Everybody at that party was like, "Oh yeah, it's really good." Blah blah. You know,
was it like
tears?
Dry?
It was too. I baked it. Yeah, it was too dry.
Too dry.
Yeah,
not enough slime.
Yeah, not enough like
goo,
cheese.
Not enough drip.
Not enough drip. So.
Well, I guess every person has their own flavors, and you know, I think that's just what kids like. Maybe that's what they're used to—the easy mac and cheese.
Yeah, but mac and cheese, that's a kid's favorite.
Yeah, I know, but then you bake it. You know what I mean? Because you do extra with it.
I did.
I'm saying when all they've known is that easy mac, where it's just gooey to begin with.
Yeah,
but, you know, some people like the crust on top of it. Some people like it a little, you know. So everybody has their own taste, man.
Yeah, definitely don't trust a child's opinion. When it comes to food, they're just like, oh, he's eating fruit roll up.
They rather eat that mac and cheese or chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Chicken tenders and fries, man.
Give me my Dino Nuggies and Easy Mac,
and they'll be happy, bro.
I know. I think you guys are just trying to spare my feelings, but.
Well, I've never had your mac and cheese, so I can't say anything about it.
Usually
but I'm
it's
just
good.
saying.
Usually, I think
right?
I had an off day.
No, your mac and cheese is pretty good every time I've tried it.
Yeah, but everybody does a mac and cheese, you know. So I wanted to, you know, my sister does one, your cousin does one, your other cousin does her, you know, his wife helps him, you know,
No, she does one. He takes the credit.
I know. I was trying to get that.
But getting back to the whole thing of like serving bad food versus good food.
Right.
I mean, I think you got to take your licks. Like you gotta have bad food to know what good food tastes like. You know what I mean?
You think that's the play that he's trying to go through? It's not like he serves everybody bad
Exactly.
food. He just serves his close friends.
Exactly.
And I wonder if it's just like a gimmick of his. Like,
I think that's the thing. It's just like, how nasty of a dish can I make up? Like what flavors can I join together to make it so disgusting?
Yes.
Like, but think about it though. That allows you to know what not to put together for the future so that when you are improving on anything, you're just like, oh, I know that these two don't go well together, like squid tentacle and peanut butter. I'm never going to put that together. I'm not going to put squid tentacle in a peanut sauce. Like I'll put squid tentacle in a hoisin sauce or something like that. Something.
Well, because he likes squid, Soma. He's like he's like chewing on one when he goes to the dorms, and that's how he's able to get beat that challenge or whatever. But no, I do agree with what you're saying. I feel like that with chocolate and mint. I don't know why people like that together.
I don't like it.
So good.
Tell me.
Mint chocolate chip.
What's the chemistry there?
Mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's just so good, man.
It's like toothpaste.
Yeah, but it's
chocolate.
like
it's like a sweet toothpaste.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's like the richness of the chocolate, and then it just gets like cut
a little mint
very quick with the mint. And I don't know. It's something about just mint chocolate chip though. I can't do like York peppermint patties.
Oh, really?
Or those things are disgusting. Like, don't get me anywhere near those.
I don't like those either.
I think anything with mint chocolate is just not my. I'm with Xavier on that one. It's just not my thing.
Hey, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, man.
Well,
All right, let's see. So there's also a manga that I wanted to read, and I read the first chapter, but I just wasn't able to get all the way through it. Food Wars Shokugeki no Sanji. So Sanji.
Oh, Sanji's in it?
Sanji's in it. So it's a 6-chapter manga. It's on the Shonen Jump app, so I will actually get through it. It's the team that does Food Wars. They just like have their own take on Sanji, like a adventure that he has at that restaurant. I forget the name of it, but
it's the floating restaurant from One Piece.
Right.
Oh, the little fish restaurant.
Yeah.
I fucking love that restaurant.
So the captain or Red Boot or whatever, he's out of town like gathering ingredients. So there's this food critic that comes and she's like talking shit about the food, and she's like this big whale of a lady. And I guess she has like, some sort of, she has the One Piece equivalent of God's tongue. He just has to like cook a good meal for her. And, they tell the story in 6 chapters. But what I wanted to bring at the top of the episode was this is like a manga or manga that's actually written by one person and then drawn by a different one. So usually, or at least in the ones that we've done so far in these episodes, the artist is also the writer. So I just thought it was like interesting that this writer has his own artists. And how do you feel about like the style besides the anime food, obviously, Food Wars? Like, do you think it's unique? Like, I know he's got like his headband, but I put him up there with like an iconic character, like a Naruto, or he's got like a good look.
So I don't know if you guys noticed just from like watching Food Wars, either, through the episodes,
right?
It is not animated.
It's not animated. What do you
It's panels. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, have you ever seen an anime where it's just like, if you watch it and like really pay attention, a lot of it is just panels. Like, it's literally a panel of, it's them, like it's a still panel and they'll just change like the mouth moving, but it'll be like a good like 5 seconds of them just staying in that same pose talking, and then maybe their eyes would change characteristic, but majority of it is just panels, bro. It's not animated. Like,
but what about all the sensual scenes? Those are
but if you notice, a lot of it is just like, it's still images that's just
anime though.
No, they take a lot of shortcuts. I agree with Lewis on that one.
Yeah, you gotta like, if you really watch it, it's literally majority of all their episodes is just panel after panel after panel. Maybe they'll add a different background to it, or maybe they'll have the character move like a different pose, but then they'll stay in that pose and then they'll talk, and then like they'll go back to Soma in a different pose, but he'll be in that pose for a good 3-4 seconds before they switch to another panel. Like, it's just panel after panel. So it's not really animated. That's why they were able to drop these seasons like really quickly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like their main focus was like the cutting and the food and like anything that's the animation cutting. Part. That's where their budget went to. Everything else was just like, all right, how it became a graphic novel kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's wise though. I think, because I mean, they fooled me. Like I wasn't able to, like the parts that I was like staring at were the essential parts, of them eating the food or the chopping or the stirring and all that stuff. But
the rest is pounds.
And to a certain extent, like that is my main gripe with Food Wars is that the story doesn't really like captivate you. Like it captivates you in the sense of you want to see Soma win. It's the underdog story, but how many times hasn't that been done in anime already? Like you're kind of already seeing like an underdog, like it's the same underdog story, but just with a different skin. Well, so like that kind of like, it didn't capture me as much as I wanted it to. Yeah. Although it was still good. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching it. And like, it's one of like my favorite, like turn my brain off kind of animes. But like, it's not like a Attack on Titan, for instance, where like they really put care into every single step of the story, the animation, the art, like all of that is way different from Food Wars, where it's kind of just like a simple pleasure kind of show.
And the story gets wilder after seasons. Like it like diverts into something different. Like towards the end.
Yeah, him being inspired, whatever.
Yeah, like towards the end is like Tongue, like his father, like I guess he's like this evil person that wants to change the industry of like cooking, and he only wants the top chefs. Like if people have to eat, they have to eat at these like high-end restaurants. Like, and there shouldn't be anything lower than that. You know what I mean? So it was like the whole plot changed, and then like him wanting to take his father down. It like at the beginning was just more of like him moving up the ranks and like actually becoming part of the top 10 or being the number one. Right. You know what I mean? And I think that was just his way of showing like his dad that he's a good chef as his dad is. You know, but then after like season 3, 4, and 5, the whole story starts changing. There's even characters like have these special abilities. Like one person can cook with a chainsaw or something like that.
I saw somebody holding a chainsaw.
Yeah, like that's her cooking skill. Her ability is to use chainsaws, or like, I don't know. It's just like, or somebody can do their abilities to cook with hammers. It starts getting wild. You know what I mean? And you feel like the show just runs out of ideas.
The show gets so deranged, like so fast. Like that's what I was more getting at, is just like, at first, it is a good show that it's grounded and you're just like, hey, I really like this kid's story, whatever. And then that's when it starts like, it's just like, oh, he graduated school. Now what do we do? Spies. And like, and now the world's trying to be taken over by A5 Wagyu distributors. And like, you can only eat at Michelin star restaurants. Like, I was just like, all right, man, like this is.
I mean, it's a Food Wars, like what else do they?
I only got space in my stomach for 2 plates, bro. Right. Plates 3, 4, and 5. I'm done.
All right. Like focus on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then, like you said, like, when does it become repetitive? Like if he is just the best chef and, he can only be the underdog for so long until he is number one. And then what? I don't know. I think it is kind of like a food. Like, you kind of have to know what you're eating. Like if you want something savory or something that you can turn your brain off or something spicy. So I think it does fit the need or the whole or whatever for like a shonen anime that's rich in food. Because like I was saying, usually when you see Naruto, even if they are eating something like really, really good, or even like sometimes with One Piece, like the food does look good. But outside of like those movies, Studio Ghibli, anime food just looks as good as the anime. It doesn't like take it a step beyond unless there's like a lot of attention to detail in like these foods. As far as for Food Wars, so they don't have any movies, but there was something that I wanted to share with you guys. So for MasterChef. So when we had decided to do this episode to like correlate it with Thanksgiving, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get like these different angles. When you watch the show, it does like put you in the mood to cook. It definitely gets you hungry, but you're watching it and you're like, I could do that. I have that shit in the fucking pantry. So I went over to a friend's house and she was making food and they watch MasterChef for dinner, like with their dinner. They're like it was just like the stars aligned this way, but they were on like season 12. So let me give you the story real quick. MasterChef Junior. And I wanted to watch this because I thought it was going to be the most like the closest thing to anime, like with these like prodigy kids who can they know how to mince and they know how to improvise and they just know cooking techniques so well at the young age of 10, 12, whatever. Yeah. So season 1 of MasterChef Junior, there's a junior chef called Dara. And the thing about MasterChef is I think those people, there's like a difference between Iron Chef and MasterChef. I think MasterChef is just home cook people, like people who are just like home cooks. And then there's another show where if you have a restaurant, then you're on that chef. But her name is Dara. She's 12 years old. So spoiler alert, she makes it all the way to the end and doesn't make it. And it's like this battle between her and this other guy. And it's like tough. And she's got like a gimmick where she has like a Minnie Mouse headband. So like, and all these chefs in MasterChef Junior, like they know their shit. It gets to the point where you're looking at it and you're in disbelief that like you think that maybe like a chef cooked that and then they put this kid in front of it. But from what I read, like it's true. These are like the best chefs in America. But whatever. So she makes it all the way to the end, but then she loses to this guy. So fast forward 8 years, regular MasterChef is on season 12. And then they have a season where they bring all the MasterChefs who've lost from like previous seasons to another chance to win. So she loses in MasterChef Junior and then is a return guest in the regular MasterChef. Mm-hmm. So she also makes it to the end again. And I won't spoil how it ends because I think that you should watch it. And, you know, for listeners of the podcast, if you are into cooking or if you got excited about Food Wars, definitely should watch this. Like, I'm gonna curate this thing. So watch the first 2 episodes of MasterChef Junior of season 1, watch the last 2, and then do the same thing. Watch the first 2 of season 12, and then the last, I want to say 3 or 2 to 3. It's pretty nice. It's like the closest thing that we have to live action anime Food Wars. So, but besides that, Food Wars doesn't have any movies.
No, I don't think it does. And I don't think it needs any movie.
You don't think so?
You know, I don't think so.
I mean, it's a nothing burger. Like, there's not really much else to build off of it. They already did everything they could off of it.
Like, what other story could they... Like I said, towards the end, it really just feels like they just started throwing shit on there just to keep the audience captivated with a different story than just him battling it out until he's number 1.
Yeah. I mean, that's why MasterChef is able to go for so long because they just have a rotating cast. Like, it's maybe the guests and the judges are the same.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's a rotating cast of different chefs. Like, one show that I hate that my dad loves watching is Beat Bobby Flay.
Okay.
That thing is so tried out. Like,
tell me.
It's the same thing. Oh, we got 2 competitors that go against each other, and then both of them have to go against Bobby Flay. And they say the same jokes, and they say the same everything, and 90% of the time, Bobby Flay wins. And I'm just like, this is so boring.
It's daytime television now.
Yeah. Why do you... I don't watch cable. I hate it for that reason. It's so, like, it's just so played out.
Yeah, I see that. And pandering a little bit.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of fluff. Like when they go back to, this is his story, whatever.
Exactly.
So that's why I wouldn't recommend to watch the whole show in its entirety. Like, if you like it, no shame. But as far as like anime, I would like this whole come up of her failing MasterChef Junior and then coming back to try again was really, really nice. And, at least in the 12th season of this show, MasterChef, they've refined it to where the cast of characters are colorful, like anime characters. Like there's a guy who he doesn't cook with a chainsaw, but like they have like their own strengths and gimmicks, that they're able to like to shine in this show. So,
and I think that's what what this show needs, especially because like you said, like it's a rotation of people and every person brings their own characteristic, their own themes, their own background. Are they Spanish? Do they you know what I mean? Like, do they cook Spanish?
Right.
Are they like really new to the kitchen? Like I've seen those ones where they're like, oh yeah, I cook for my family. And then when they get to MasterChef, they're like, they don't know shit.
Right.
There was like this one girl that was like cutting a tomato and couldn't cut it because she still had the sleeve on and they're like, you need to take the sleeve off. She takes it off and still cuts it wrong because she's using the backside of the knife.
What? And
then she's like, but it's cutting. And then she like turn it around. Why? Does it cut it finer or something like that? Like, that stuff is just funny to watch. Just like, wow, like how do you come here and not even know how to use a knife properly? That's like basic.
Dude, I want to be
skills.
Those people. Like they just had a walk-on like Audible kind of thing. It's just like, hey, we're missing one person. Let's get this in.
Yeah, like whoever was walking through the street that day, like, you want to be on TV? You want to make some money? Come on in.
Here, we'll give you $100 and you know how to hold the knife.
I know.
I mean, at least she knew how to hold it. But
right.
I thought that was funny. But yeah, just having like a different people on there and just their backgrounds and what they bring to the show. But I think at the end of the day, food is food. You know what I mean? So like even with the anime itself, like there was not the story. It wasn't the story that was captivating you. Yeah. It was just like, the cooking, the art, and a little bit of like actually going into detail about like why they're cooking it this way, or why they're dicing it that way, or the different skills there is in dicing, or like my favorite part of the show was like when you said they kept like messing with his food. So there was like a competition where he had to impress this chef instructor, and they had to make this food, and one of the students ended up like dumping shitload of salt. Yeah. So they had to start from the beginning. So his gimmick, or his way of like
his solution
was to like, was it like honey or something like that? Yes. To break down the protein of the meat, to cook it. Yeah, to tenderize it even more.
They had to restart
at a quicker pace. Yeah. Instead of them like doing like how they would naturally do it. So like things like that, like little. That's
the parts that I like. Yeah, the improvisation of like, because when you're cooking at home, you don't really need. There's no way fucking with your food. Yeah. But to like cook with it, like what's in this pantry, or he gets to the dorm and he didn't bring any food, so he has to use leftovers. Or, there's something that he brought, and still produce this amazing food. Like, not something passable, something good to win the judges over.
And they do that in every episode too. Like towards the end, when he's like giving an explanation of his food, he's like, and the secret ingredient, like something he added extra to like elevate the food even more. Yeah. And they couldn't figure it out just from tasting it. But once he like reveals that secret, they're like, oh yeah, you can like. Now, there was something in it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but now that you revealed it,
once you taste it, then it's just like, oh yeah, no wonder, that makes sense. Yeah. I will give a Food Wars that. Like, I know I've been dogging on it for its story, but a little bit, when it comes to like the techniques and like even just the way Soma holds his knife, like there's a thing called a pinch grip where with a knife you don't hold the handle like you would like a hammer or something like that. Like you get your pointer and your thumb and pinch like the heel of the blade, like at the front of the handle. It gives you a lot more control with chopping. That's just like little tiny details like that I was noticing throughout the whole show, where yes, it is it's a lot more fantastical, and like they're cooking with like big huge fires and,
and they chop like
like million miles per hour, but the actual techniques that they use and like the recipes and like all of that, they do very much like honor that, and I very much like that show for that reason, because it does tickle the inner chef in me.
But the story itself,
no,
if you're in
story's whack.
If you're
it just gets whacker
I
as
would
long
say
as the seasons go, or plates, like you were saying.
Don't go for the story, go for the food, because the food is like the highlight, and the fan stuff. Service that you're talking about. So, and it's just
come
so
for the food, stay for the porn.
But it's just so funny. Like, I love anime, and like I love that anime can have all these different things. Like, it's not very emotional, I want to say.
There is like a love interest though between like him and Megumi, and then Aaron. Like, her like neglecting him being a good chef, and
yes, man, I hate that girl.
They put him themselves like in these weird situations where that she's like, you know what I mean? Like again, reaching back to like that ecchi stuff.
Yeah. And so before we get on to what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're playing, you guys wanted to talk about Chef. It's a movie that I wanted to watch, and I apologize, podcasters. I wanted to watch this movie for this episode, but I don't know. I'm just like really weird with my movies. I can't just play it in the background. So how do you feel about that movie, Chef, bro?
I love it. It's so.
Is it anime?
No, it is not. Is
it?
Does it have the soul of anime? It's the underdogs. Yeah, it definitely does have the anime soul in the underdog story. But no, it's a live action movie. It's written, directed, and starred by Jon Favreau, who, if you know, is the guy that did The Mandalorian and Elf with Will Ferrell and all that. So dude's an amazing just actor, writer, all of that, all in one. And it's pretty much a story of he is like a Michelin star chef, or he's like a really high ranking chef, and he gets a bad review from a food critic. I don't remember the story. It's been years since I watched it, but I love that movie. He gets like a bad review or something like that, and then he just says, fuck it, like I'm just gonna up and quit, like, and he decides to open up his own food truck. Right. So in that food truck, it is his goal to perfect the Cuban sandwich and just make a delicious, like the best Cuban sandwich that you could ever make.
Is he Cuban in the movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, he is married to Sophie Vergara in the movie. She is in the movie.
Sofia Vergara is just married to every fat white guy.
Yeah,
she's in Hollywood.
The movie. I just pulled it up while we were talking about it, and I saw her face on it, and I'm like, oh, so she is in the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I think she plays the wife, and she doesn't want him to do it because he's gonna be like on the road the whole time. I think he even takes his son, right?
Yeah, he takes his son and his best friend.
To do the food truck thing. So they go to like every single state that has like a food truck thing. I think he even end up in California too. And all those like high end places, and just basically what you said, perfecting the Cuban sandwich.
Yeah, no, it is an amazing movie.
Yeah,
and
I do
like,
want to watch
just the come up story of the whole thing is very, very good.
No, it's good.
That's what
I will say one little like tidbit of information. John Favreau actually before that movie did not know how to cook anything.
Really?
And that first scene, the opening scene where
the
he's
montage, right?
where he's in the restaurant like making everything.
Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah.
Nobody else helped him. He did everything himself.
No, it looks good. That's why I bring it up as far as like anime. Because I started it, but I didn't get to. I was like, damn, this movie is a little bit too good for me to be playing it in the background. So he does like nice techniques, and it's actually him.
Yeah,
so that's surprising that he didn't know. I thought he had a passion for cooking, and he's just this director, so he wanted to combine it. So
no, he picked it up for that movie. He wanted to write a movie for it, and then he was just like, no, I need to learn how to cook if I'm going to be acting in it. I'm not going to have a double.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How'd you like the movie?
No, I like that movie, man. It was a pretty good movie. But I'm trying to remember as much of it because it's just been such a long time.
Yeah.
But I do remember like some aspects of the movie. But it was a good movie, man. It was like, wasn't it like an emotional movie too?
Yeah. There were a couple scenes where I like teared up a little bit, like when his son burned his hand on the plancha, like trying to pull one of the sandwiches off. Like he was like tearing into him a little bit, and then his friend was just like, hey man, he's just a kid, he's trying to help you out, he's working like 12 hours just like you are, like you got to cut him some slack. And then like all that parent bonding and stuff like that, like just such a good movie, man. It's such a great movie. It's definitely my top 5.
Damn. Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
Okay.
Like top 5 in general, like top 5 like cooking movies.
Top 5
Are there
food
5?
related movies.
Are there-
related movies.
are there
There's so
5?
many movies for
Well, the other one
related.
that I want to talk about was Burnt.
Okay.
So like Burnt is one where the chef itself is like an alcoholic, but he's trying to get cleaned up because he has like 2 Michelin stars under his belt, and I don't think in the movie anybody has a third one. So he wanted to be like that first chef to achieve that. But he talks about like aspects about being a chef or like the head chef. You know what I mean? And just like the pressure and just like the critics and how everything has to be to the T perfect.
Yeah. You're not allowed to make mistakes.
It's like OCD inside the kitchen. You know what I mean? And it's just like you can see like, I don't know, something about it is just crazy, man. Like the environment that they have is just like fast paced, and it's like people are screaming at each other, but like you need to have like really tough skin to be a line cook.
It's so that what they did in Burnt is very much how a kitchen operates. That is something called a French brigade. Like every like high-end Michelin star restaurant, everybody operates the same concept of the French brigade. There's the chain of command. You have your head chef, and then everything else. Head chef is the one that does it, and then everyone else replicates. Yeah. And yeah, I completely agree with that movie. And like with what you were saying, it is intensely difficult to like.
I feel like everybody's like at each other's throats.
Yeah. Granted, that movie is dramatized to like make it more dramatic, but yeah.
No, but even in like the Netflix shows with Ramsey, like when he does like people like are preparing
bar rescue.
Yeah, no. When people are like making food,
Hell's Kitchen and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's like screaming at them.
Yeah.
He's like,
"What are you, an idiot sandwich?"
You're like, you don't know how to cook something. You fucking burnt this shit, and like take it back and start all over again. Like we got people we gotta serve, and it's just like it's cutthroat shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn, I can't imagine myself working like under all that pressure. But I guess like
wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to either.
Fuck
like,
that.
especially if they're gonna be cursing, but you gotta take it.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, I feel like in that industry, you just have to have like really thick ass skin. And in that movie, Burnt, it felt the same way because he really comes out as a fucking asshole all the time, just screaming at them and just like, you can't even make the simplest shit. Like, he'll let you know you need to do it this way. And like, it has to be done this way. but then you are the top chef, so you are the one being represented. Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, when the dish comes out, it doesn't fall on the line cooks. It doesn't fall who's beneath. It falls on you as the main chef. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your quality control. Like your name is on the line, not anybody else's.
And it's funny because they're not even like the ones actually cooking. They're the ones that actually like making sure that whatever comes out of the kitchen is to the T. Like they make sure the plates is nice and clean. Like every little piece of, you know,
the microgreens are exactly where they need
to be before he like sends them out. Like, he even like tastes everything, but he does come up with the recipe, and then he has to show his line cooks how to replicate it, like you said.
Yeah, I mean I have some sort of like understanding. Like I understand why it is like that they get so angry. It's because like you're at that level where you're expected to be flawless. Like at that point, you're already supposed to be like flawless. Like if you ever watch like MasterChef Kids, where Gordon Ramsay is like working with the kids, nicer. He's so much nicer to him.
He dials it down.
He's super nice in that damn show.
Yeah,
because the kids don't know. They're still in the process of learning. Like if you are an adult who have made your career out of cooking, yeah, you're going to be called a fucking idiot if you can't even sear a fish right. If you're supposed to know how to sear a fucking fish.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge difference in like knowing your shit and then learning shit.
I mean, that's how it is like in the anime, you know, taking it back to Food Wars, like the teachers or the instructors are very strict and they are like pass or fail. Like you need to it's either good enough to be in my restaurant or take it back to the drawing board. So, you know, as far as like, you know, your example to Gordon Ramsay, how nice he is to these kids, I think that's a little unfair.
Well, he's nice in coaching them.
He's not doing them a disservice by not being mean to them, but I just think that, you know.
But then again, like if you watch a show where he's calling these kids fucking stupid heads.
Oh yeah, that would be child abuse.
That's child abuse. So they probably tell him like, yo, you need to dial it down. Remember, these are kids.
He probably does it and they just cut it all out. Yeah.
You never know, bro. You never know.
The kids come out with like shell-shocked eyes. They're just like they just saw war.
So he has to like dial it down. But you're right, like the people for like master chefs, they do come as like you should know what you're doing. Yeah. So then he gets pissed off when you're like, this is basic shit, and you're here to basically show that you should be the next master chef, but you can't do this correctly.
Right.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you don't deserve to be there if you can't be in that position. Like it's just that. One show I will say that's very good, I don't know if either of you have watched it, is The Bear on Hulu.
I've heard of it. It's with that guy from Shameless, right?
Yeah, Jeremy Allen White.
Yes. I've seen like clips on it here and there, and I've been wanting to watch it just because it looks really good.
So
cooking
good.
Or what?
Yeah, it's a cooking show. But
is he like the head chef too? He plays the head chef?
So pretty much he was like a Michelin star restaurant like head chef there, or like the sous chef to the head chef. So he was like second in charge. And he steps away from that because his best friend or his brother, I don't know their relationship, but the restaurant owner dies and he inherits the restaurant, and it's like just this like prime rib shop in Chicago.
Ooh, I love ribs.
No, prime rib. It's a different thing. It's like a cut of meat.
Oh, okay.
My bad. So like
close enough. But hey, ribs are tasty.
I eat like rice bowls, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But he inherits the restaurant and he goes like wanting to step it up and like not just have it be like just a place that you can get like a $5 hoagie kind of thing.
Right.
Like you actually have like some quality stuff, and also working his way out of the like mountain of debt that like his friend put the business under. And just the techniques, the story, the way that like you see it go from like the burnt scenario where everyone's like screaming at each other and it's like real tense to becoming almost like a family, and everyone like works together, and it's just like, oh, you need this here, let me help you out with this, and like everyone has their own like little spot, everyone works out together, and it's like it just is such a beautiful show. Like that's also on my top 5.
Oh, okay.
It's really good.
I've been wanting to watch that one, actually.
I highly recommend it.
I definitely will. And then the last movie I wanted to bring up was The Menu, which is a more recent movie about cooking with a little aspect of horror and psychological, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. But I've seen like glimpses of it on YouTube and whatever. You said you've seen it, right?
Yes, it is very good movie.
Is it anime, bro?
No, it's not
at all.
I think that's the only cooking anime that is like animation. Besides the movie that I told you on Netflix, this is about ramen.
Yeah.
But besides that, I haven't seen like any other animated. I mean, besides like what we see with like Sanji cooking, something like that.
Well,
like,
when I say anime, I don't mean like is it anime. I meant like
Does it have anime soul?
Does it have anime? Does it have the soul of anime?
What the menu is more like a horror psychological thing where
it's like it's very much a drama.
Yeah, where what I like about the way he cooks is more artistic, like more like he's trying to paint a picture with food, which I think is pretty dope. So there's like different aspects of when it comes to food, like so many aspects. Like there's a show on Netflix that is like a competition show, but for barbecue.
Yeah.
And I
Pitmasters.
Pitman. Oh my God. I love watching that. I get hungry every time I see them make a brisket, ribs, and the different ways of making it. Like you can bake it, you can roast it, you can smoke it, and the degrees and like I think there was like a challenge where they all had to do a whole pig. You know, which in our Spanish culture, there's we dig a hole, we put the coals, and then we make like some type of system to like rotate it.
Yes,
like it's something that we do in our culture, but they also have like different ways of like cooking it and like how good are you like roasting a pig and like knowing the temperatures and knowing like the way the skin breaks down or how to make the skin like all nice and crunchy, like what to add it, but then also make the meat inside nice and tender and juicy, not dry. It's so much aspects that go into it, but I love watching that show because they do fuck up sometimes. And even though they say they're like, oh, I've been, barbecuing for years, like in my state, in Texas or Missouri or wherever the hell they're from, they're like, I've been doing this for like 20 something years. I know how to roast something or I know how to barbecue something. But then they fuck up, you see them fuck up like, God damn, shit came out too dry. Yeah, and it does happen, you know what I mean? And I love that though. But and then there's like people that bring their own flavor to it, like, give it more of a Hispanic taste to it or something like that. And even with the side dishes too, like the cornbread, the mac and cheese, the coleslaw, like stuff like that, you know what I mean? But I love that show. Every time I watch it, I just want to eat barbecue afterwards.
Yeah, no, it's delicious.
No, for sure. All right. So that's the Food Wars episode. Woo!
Well, I'm full.
Oh yeah, you're full. We started the episode hungry, and now we're full.
Damn, that was what, 6 plates worth?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 6 seasons. So next, what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're gaming. So JP, J to the Pizzle, J long apron,
extra long
apron. What you're reading, what you're watching, what you're playing.
Man, I haven't been reading anything but some college textbooks, man. I'm working on getting my degree, so I don't have brain space for anything else.
How is that though?
I don't even want to talk about it. It sucks.
On to the next one.
It's just a lot of boring reading. Watching, I mean, Food Wars, when I'm just like doing homework, I'll just have it on in the background and take a peek up when they're doing in their cooking scenes.
Yeah.
And then gaming, I've just been playing a lot of Vampire Survivor when I have time. Like that's the
mobile game you were talking about earlier?
Yeah. It's like Survivor.io. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen those like Instagram ads where it's like the one like guy running around and like you gotta like pick up power-ups and all that junk.
Yeah, I have seen
it is the better version of Survivor.io. It's a very simple, just single stick auto shooter. It'll lasts you maximum 30 minutes. Like, it's a very easy pick up, put down game. Like, I take it on like bathroom breaks or whatever. Like, I'll just kind of like
30 minutes. That's how long it takes to do a level?
One run. Like, the maximum time that you can play is 30 minutes nonstop. Like at the end of 30 minutes,
you have to play tomorrow.
No, yeah, right.
Well, because those freemium games are like that. Like, you can only do so many energies. And then you recoup your energy at the end.
You gotta wait like a whole day to to play again.
This game, I love it because like it is the full PC version of the game, fully free. The only thing you have to do is like watch ads if you want to get like a free revive.
Okay.
But like the maximum you can do is 30 minutes because at the end of 30 minutes, death comes. And like death is, I kind of like it. It's very poetic. It's like very unavoidable. Mm-hmm. Like it just comes at you and it deals so much damage that you're just killed instantly. So it's just a very like fun loop. Like the minute to minute gameplay, very enjoyable. There's a lot of like actual tactic to it once you like start getting into like power-ups and stuff like that. It's a roguelike game. Like where you do multiple runs, but every run you get like an upgrade, and it's like
like Dead Cells.
Yeah, like Dead Cells.
I love Dead Cells.
Okay, so if you like that, it's like a phone version of Dead Cells, but just very easy. All you got to do is one single thumb. So it's a very approachable, easy game, and I love it. It's like my guilty pleasure when I'm not doing a bunch of homework.
Yeah, no, it's good. No, I'm glad. It's always good to read, play, and watch something, I feel like. So
yeah. Keep yourself diversified.
Yeah. So what about you, Lewis, bro? What you reading? What you gaming? What you watching?
Shit, man. Reading, still nothing.
No Kaiju number 9?
No. No, not yet. I'm about to pick it up pretty soon, but I want to read what Xavier's been reading, the strawberry thing.
Wild Strawberry.
I keep forgetting the first part. I'm like, strawberry, what was it? Strawberry shortcake?
Strawberry daiquiris, bro.
Something. Yes, Wild Strawberry. I want to get into that because it, like when he was explaining it really reminds me of that anime House Paradise.
I want to get into that one.
Get into it.
Because it reminds me of Wild Strawberry.
Yeah, so it's really good. Besides that, not much. And then playing, what have I been playing? Nothing, man. I've been wanting to get the Call of Duty game. I haven't yet. And I was going to get the PlayStation Portal. So there was a reason to why I wanted to get it.
Right. Besides the unboxing.
Besides the unboxing for you guys, and get more views on YouTube. But besides that, the reason I wanted to get it was because I want to play my PS5 more. And I just feel like I haven't had the chance just because I'm either editing, I'm either with my kids, or I'm doing something else, and then I don't have time to like maybe later that night to actually play something on the PS5, like sit down and turn on the TV and stuff like that. But when my kids are home, so usually when my kids are home is my days off, they like watching TV. So I can't turn it on until they're done watching TV, and I'll probably like later throughout the night. And then by that time I'll be too tired to even try to play something. So I thought that if I had the PlayStation Portal, I would just, while they're watching TV, I can just play on the PlayStation Portal. But I wanted to get the Call of Duty game. But from what I've been hearing is that the PlayStation Portal is really good for like those cinematic games or like those game kind of story-based games like
a Spider-Man 2.
Yes. Yeah. So it seems like that's really what the Portal is based on. But like if you're playing like an action game such as Call of Duty where you need that reaction time to be quick, there's always going to be that delay because of it like being streamed through Wi-Fi. Yeah. So you're not going to get like... So I was like, I mean, that's technically the reason why I wanted to get the Portal, but...
Well, the Call of Duty that you wanted to play, did you want to play campaign or is it...
Zombie. I heard Zombie sick in that game.
I was hearing the same thing, man. That is the first Modern Warfare game that has gotten me itching to play Modern Warfare again since I saw the trailers.
It's the Zombie because the story itself, from what I've been hearing, is only like 4 hours long.
It's Call of Duty. No one plays Call of Duty for the story.
Well, if you wanted to, the story itself is like it's very simple. You can complete it in 4 hours, but it's not the main focal point of that game.
Right.
Multiplayer is good because you get to play like the old maps from Modern Warfare 3. So that's like one other aspect, but the main aspect from what I've been hearing is zombies.
Yeah,
like they really amplified it. They really like gave it its all. Like that's
they put a story mode into zombies this time.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get the game and the Portal, but I might hold off on the Portal.
Well, because zombies, would you play that online or are you?
Yeah, it's online.
It's online.
It's like multiplayer. But instead of like PvP, it's like it's a group of like 4 of you. I don't know how big the party size they're wanting to make for the zombies, but you get like a group of 4 people and then it's just survive as long as you can.
Yeah, no, I played zombies, but I'm saying like as far as like the reaction time that you're talking about, is that because it's online or?
Because it's online. Yeah. When this story is, like you're just playing as you go. You don't have to wait for like the online stuff. But like when you're playing Call of Duty, you're definitely playing that shit online all the time with other players. So you need that fast connection of internet.
My zombies story is that, we used to just play Black Ops where we play a split screen. So I've never actually played zombies online.
I don't know. It's different, man. It's just a whole beast. But yeah, you're right. Like, I do remember like playing in the couch with another friend, just playing it there. But
imagine having like a split screen and then your friend is like 2 seconds behind what you're doing.
Right.
Like that's where the issue of the PlayStation Portal comes in, which I have been seeing a lot of like reviews that it is laggy.
Yeah, the lagginess.
Like unless you have like amazing Wi-Fi wherever you're sitting, Like you have to be sitting right next to your goddamn router to be able to like get that thing to play like
Well, 'cause
smoothly.
it's both ways, because it's the Wi-Fi of the PlayStation Portal and the Wi-Fi that your PS5 is on.
So
Yeah.
I saw a video where somebody was talking about like going on Reddit and just figuring out like what's the best setup for the portal.
Right.
And they were saying like just have your PS5 connected directly to the router through an Ethernet cable itself.
Right.
And then they said that if you disconnect the PS5 from the HDMI cable connected to your TV, because some reason that when you turn on the portal, it'll turn on your PS5 and then your PS5 will still try to stream it to your TV.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's like no way to cut that out yet until Sony will probably send like a software update or something like that.
Patch or whatever.
A patch, yeah. But for right now, but that lags it even like a little bit. So they said disconnect it from the TV, have it hardwired to the router, and then you can like play it over Wi-Fi. So the only thing that's really being streamed to Wi-Fi is just the PS5 sending that information to the portal.
Yeah, you pretty
Instead
much
of having
you turn your PS5 into a Switch. Like you just turn your PS5 into a Nintendo Switch, just disconnect everything else, and then it's just handheld mode.
Yeah. But that's pretty dumb though. You know what I mean? Like,
And for $200 or however much it is,
it is $200, but I don't think it's that much.
yo, for that just get a
The Backbone is
the
$100 less.
I
and
know.
it's sponsored by PlayStation. Like PlayStation worked with Backbone to make it.
And what's funny about that, there's a video of somebody doing like a
side-by-side?
A side-by-side, like how long would it take for you to actually start a game through the portal versus the Backbone. The Backbone one.
Yeah, so
but it's funny because the PlayStation Portal was like specifically
it should be like
quicker,
head and shoulders better than the Backbone.
Yeah, so
with more features, but no, the only thing it probably has better than the Backbone, which I will give it credit for, is the haptic feedback. Like PlayStation 5's like vibrating controller. Nobody can get close to that.
I know.
It is such a beautiful controller, and it's so comfy to hold.
Yeah,
like you can hold
that's
that
the
thing
only
for
positive
hours.
of the Portal is just the way the controller is set up, and the screen itself. They say it looks like really nice, especially when you're playing like Spider-Man 2 on it. It looks really nice, but besides that,
those controllers always been better. Like even when the PS4 came out, like their controller was way better than the Xbox controller. To me, I don't like the Xbox controllers. I think they're awkward. I think they look kind of weird. I think they're like bulbous. And usually I like things that are ugly, but this controller is too ugly. But like the smoothness of the crisp, like even that the fucking PS4 controller has like the speaker in it.
Yeah.
You remember when I remember playing Grand Theft Auto and then all of a sudden like the phone conversation was coming out of the controller.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is so dope. And they got the lights like when
the
you get
status indicator light.
like or if you're getting chased by the cops, it'll fucking
turn blue and red or something like that.
man.
Yeah.
Just the PlayStation, the Rumble Shock or the Dual Shock Rumble technology.
I will say, I wish the PlayStation 4, the only gripe I had about it was the controller I felt was too small and it always cut into my palms. Like the edges of like grabbing onto it. Like
it was bigger than the PS3 controller though.
Yeah, but even the PS3 controller was still a little too tiny.
It was.
Like,
do you guys remember the PS1 controller without the analog?
God, that thing was teensy.
Yes.
It was hollow as hell.
Yeah,
it was all plastic.
It felt so light.
Yeah.
It was all plastic. I remember the PS1, man. It was all plastic and it's just like. But then again, do you remember the Xbox controller with the fucking huge ass X in the middle that had no purpose?
And then the play and pause button were like off, like in a weird corner.
Yeah, man.
So you can't say that Xbox had any rights to say anything.
No, not at all.
At that time too, like I felt the PlayStation controller was way much better than the Xbox controller.
But let's give credit to Nintendo and the N64 controller.
No.
Oh, we talked about that.
That shit.
The McDonald's sign.
Yeah, that shit is all wumbo, bro.
Yes. My God.
Man.
It makes a good like
Nintendo can
like if you're trying
create
to
some like
capture-
quirky shit, man.
Right?
They know. That's why I'm excited and scared about the new Nintendo Switch they're gonna come out because there's rumors it's gonna have dual screens now.
Oh, I heard that rumor too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are they gonna make it like folding like the Galaxy
We don't
flips
know.
or
We
whatever?
don't
Or
even-
like the
something like
Nintendo
that.
DS.
Something like that, man.
Yeah.
Boy,
That would be like the way to go. I feel like.
You
Like,
think so?
As far as like progression, like making something different instead of just making like an OLED or, because obviously what Lewis wants is a stronger system.
I feel like
That's all that they need.
perfected it.
I know.
the Switch is beautiful how
I
it
know.
is.
That's
I
how I
have been
feel.
craving a Switch since COVID came out. And
It's
like
perfect. And when they added that OLED screen on it,
Yeah.
it made it even better. Like it looks so crispy, so nice. They just need the freaking hardware to like run better games
Yes.
and just keep it nice and crispy. I don't think they should change anything about it. I don't think they need to add more quirks into it.
I think that that's what they're gonna do.
You know what I mean? This ain't My Hero Academia where we're gonna keep out. It's gonna become a Nobu and it's gonna be all fucked up and shit.
That's Nintendo, bro. That's Nintendo. They do toys.
I know, man. I know, man.
Yeah, true. They have a market for like their toy or for their consoles.
Yeah, it's like it's marketed to kids. It's marketed like, you know, kids turned adults, but like that kid in you, like who wants to play a video game.
But that's the thing. Like they have such a ability to corner the market on like making an actual like powerful handheld gaming hardware, like the Steam Deck or the Asus Legion, which is like the other like portable gaming system now. Like those have hardware to run Dark Souls or Demon Souls or like all of those like graphically intensive games. Nintendo could do the same thing. Like it can barely run Mortal Kombat 1 like past like 180p.
My brother has it. It does not look good.
That's what I'm saying. But they have the ability to do it, and the system is perfect as it is.
I think so.
There's nothing that I would change about it. Like, yeah, they can upgrade a couple little things here and there, but just keep it the same. I don't want to like for it to come out and just be a whole completely new system. Yeah. But I do know where you're coming from. Like that is Nintendo's way.
That's Nintendo, bro. They fucking
they did the Wii and then they fucked up with the Wii U.
I know.
But that's what I'm saying. They should learn from their mistakes.
You don't have
they did, and they made the Switch.
Yeah.
So for them to come out with a whole different to
take it back to the DS or whatever.
Yeah. And then they fuck it up again just the same way. You had a perfectly good running system with the Wii. Every person had one in their household. Like your grandfather had one in the household.
Dude, the Wii is undefeated.
It was like an undefeated system. And then they fucked up. They like dropped the ball with the Wii U. Nobody bought that. Nobody cared about it. Nobody cared about their stone. Which led to the Switch. So now they got to fuck it up to lead to something greater than the Switch.
Yeah. Just give us a better Switch and we'll be happy.
I think so.
Like that's all everyone is asking for is just a better Switch that can run AAA games, not just Nintendo exclusive games.
Yeah.
But hey, you gotta have nasty food to have good food.
Right.
Nice tie-in, man. Hey, nice tie-in.
We're all about the food wars here.
All right, man.
All right, so then and watching. What are you watching?
Oh shit, we're still on that.
Yeah, I know. We got on a huge tangent.
Watching Kaiju. Sorry, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece. The arc is about to end at Wano, which is pretty cool. And they're about to depart and go on to their next adventure. I'm pretty upset about something there, but I guess it is what it is. Don't want to go into spoilers, but it is what it is. And then what else is going on in the anime world besides Kaiju, One Piece? No, I've just been watching anime, just catching up on stuff like that and just, seeing what's new, what's out there right now. Those are like your big hitters. Waiting on Bleach, but Bleach is done too. I don't know what else I'm watching. I think that's pretty much it.
That's a good amount, bro.
I guess, man, just to stay on top of it, just to see what's going on in the world. And then TV wise, there's this show called Two Broke Girls. You see it?
My ex, her family loves that show.
Yeah, so I've been watching that a little bit here and there, on my downtime, like especially at work when I'm just like documenting shit and I just play it like in the background because it kind of is like a sitcom kind of shit. So you can just listen to it and, some jokes hit, some jokes don't. But it's so funny because like everything is scripted. So it's like nothing's from the top of their head. Everything's scripted. And then like if it's funny, they'll have like the background audience laugh at it like, ha.
Yeah, the laugh tracks.
Yeah. And then you're like, that wasn't even that funny, but okay, whatever. And they do try to keep up the jokes with like what's, current. Yeah. So which is kind of, I guess it's kind of funny. So.
Topical humor.
Yeah, it's all right. The show itself, I wouldn't say like is anything crazy. It feels like I'm watching a little bit of like
Big Bang Theory.
It's like Friends or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like but there's a character there that I fucking hate, and it's the white blonde girl. I feel like she's always fucking up every situation.
One of the broke girls?
Yeah. Like always like there's there's an episode where they have to make a cake for a wedding cake and they don't do wedding cakes, but because of the money and then being broke, they're like, fuck it, we do wedding cakes. Yeah. So they do the wedding cake and they can't afford to hop on a cab. So they have to take the train station, which is like, you're literally they're literally taking a whole ass cake with the risk of somebody bumping into it, and somehow they always manage to get it right. Okay, they get it into the train. They're loud, becoming like sore because they're holding up the cake. A couple of empty seats become available. They set the cake down, and somehow I think she's meant to be clumsy in the show. Somehow she always ends up fucking it up. So somehow like somebody bumps into her and she like literally falls in the cake, and you're like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, no, she's the dramatics of the whole thing.
And you're like, bro, somehow she always just manages to like fuck up the situation, and it like pisses me off. Like, I'm like, bro, you know that you guys are broke. You know that you need the money. Like, why can't, like, she does everything else right, except somehow like in every plan they make, and it's a plan that she makes and then involves the other girl to be a part of it, but then she fucks it up, and then the other girl has to find a way to fix it and to like make the whole situation work. So it's like kind of like that back and forth flow that they have.
It's just how you keep the episodes going, man.
But it's just, it still pisses me off.
Yeah.
It just still pisses me off. I'm like, bro, why you gotta be so clumsy? Just stop.
Gotta love to hate her.
I know. I mean,
but whatever. Is that's their dynamic
duo? Yeah, you have the straight man, and then you have like, the one that has all the comedy or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if that's their dynamic, I guess. But the show's all right, man. I mean, it has like 7 seasons?
It's been going on for a while.
Yeah, so I guess it's doing okay. Money wise, they're not that broke.
Yeah, the writer's not broke.
The girls always perpetually.
Right. Or else they got to change the title.
Yeah.
2 medium well golf girls.
Yeah.
But
how about you, man? What you reading? What you watching? What you playing?
So just been reading that Food Wars Sanji manga. And by reading, just the one. And besides like the same shit that I'm always doing. So I haven't had to read the campaign for the Lost Mines of Phandelver, because the last session that we did was just a combat session. So, and I'm not doing homebrew. I am like, sticking to the story. So I am putting my own little twist on it. And like, I wrote a bunch of shit and then you guys just did your own thing. So I'm kind of glad I didn't over prepare that episode, because that's the beauty of D&D.
That's the curse and the beauty of being a DM, man. You can never plan too far in advance.
Yes. I had all this shit planned, like a whole, without metagaming or whatever. I had this whole thing for the next morning. We were going to like, fucking run that town or run the bandits out of town or whatever you guys wanted to do. And in the dead of night, you guys just fucking went over there and did it. And I was trying to make it so like it was not discouraging, but I was trying to say, hey, there's a lot of people there and they're all there. And they were like, no, fuck them. We want to kill them. So
Go hog wild.
Yeah. So, but besides that, just reading the same shit, Chainsaw, Dr. Stone, and One Piece, and The Wild Strawberry. So keeping up on that. And then as far as playing, so I haven't really been playing anything either, but we are going to be streaming that game, Demon Souls. So the stream is coming soon. The first episodes is going to be probably like the first couple weeks of December. So we did the dry run. The only thing that we need to do is see how we're going to set up the camera. But that's a PlayStation 5 exclusive game that me and 2 other friends are going to be doing on this damn channel. So I also don't know if we're going to be doing it on Twitch, YouTube, or there's this new one called Kick. So, wherever. And either way, like the real big moments are going to be on our YouTube. That's the only thing that I've been playing. And then watching, I did try to watch this anime, Blue Eye Samurai, that was on Netflix.
Oh, I think I've seen it. Well, I haven't seen it, but I saw like the trailer for it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
but it's like what, 3D kind of style?
It is, yeah, the CGI or whatever.
Yeah.
A friend of mine from work, she actually picked it up and binged it. And, this is like her first anime, because for normal people, and I know we, have the joke or whatever about like the normies, like for true normies, I don't like to recommend anime to them because I know it is just very weird. She loved it, but like you said, it was like 3D.
But it's a samurai anime, so it's not like nothing crazy. It's like watching a samurai movie, or cartoon-ish wise.
Right. I mean, I haven't really got into it with her about like what she liked about it. I did try to pick it up, but I just couldn't really like get into it. And all the stuff that I'm trying to watch, if it's not anime, it is just like in the background. So I wasn't really into it, but I do want to give it another chance. Because like you said, you heard good things about it, right? Or
I only saw the trailers on Netflix. I never really
the Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Yeah, no, I never saw it.
Because I love samurai. I don't know.
The only samurai I like is Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack, you don't like Afro Samurai?
Him too. I forgot
Samurai
about
Champloo.
Forgot about him.
Samurai Jack, man.
Samurai Champloo.
That last season was a masterpiece.
Oh yes,
it was just well put together.
Yeah.
Whoever animation house did that one. That's the one I need to. You guys need to do more stuff like that because that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network. I don't know what they did, who they hired, if they brought a team from Japan to go do this last season.
Hey, we can find out.
They resurrected Tom from Toonami just for that last season.
I know they had him doing it.
Yeah, right.
It was perfect, man.
And the last thing that I saw is I watched the first episode of Scott Pilgrim. So we are going to do an episode on it. So Lewis and I are going to try to watch all of it.
Yeah.
By next week.
And do a review on it.
Yeah. So by next week, Wednesday, we'll record it and then we'll try to get it out to you. And that'll be a YouTube exclusive for a review on that. So
Exciting
far,
stuff.
So far, so good. And I will reserve my opinion about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the show.
That's it, man. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the little bell button, so you guys are notified every time we drop a new video. Remember, we have like different categories, the podcast, the reviews, and the gaming coming soon. We're also dropping shorts. So check us out on TikTok, where we drop a little bit of samples from our videos, funny moments, educational moments. So you guys can stay on top of that. Definitely listen to our podcast. We love when we see our numbers up. That means you guys are hearing us and enjoying it. So definitely know that you can hear us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, almost every platform you guys are on.
Google
We're even
Podcasts.
on YouTube now, YouTube podcast.
Yeah.
And that's becoming a thing. So it's definitely on there now too, if you want to listen through there, if you guys have like the YouTube subscription stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much it, man. Thank you, JP, for coming onto the show.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
You're
I
a
had
really
lot of
good
fun.
guest.
Yeah, man. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
We love your insight on the food
Yeah.
and about the chef parts and stuff like
I already
that.
knew you were knowledgeable about, was it culinary and
The culinary scene.
culinary scene, but
Yeah,
I
man.
learned some good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, man. Use that knowledge for your Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
If you,
Right.
if you want to do a shout out,
Yeah.
put your IG account in there.
Yeah.
Let people know who you are.
Come on, bro.
So I'm JP, J to the Pizzle. That's actually my Instagram handle. So if you want to follow me on there, go ahead. It'll be linked in the description below.
It will be.
And yeah, just stuff your turkeys. Make sure it's fully cooked.
Yes.
And
Be careful with the deep frying of the turkey.
Don't deep fry a frozen turkey because those are bombs. And don't put water on a grease fire because you'll catch your house on fire.
Boom. Saving
look at
lives with the
that.
podcast.
Yep.
That's what we do here at the podcast.
Smokey the Bear out here.
Yes.
And before we sign out, this episode is going to come out either on Thanksgiving Day or the day before, maybe the day before. So for everybody listening to us, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Stay blessed. Enjoy your time with your family. Eat good food.
Yep.
And just have a blast. It's 2023. It's been a great year for everybody. It's been a great year for us, just growing. So we appreciate you guys for listening and have fun.
Yep.
Thanksgiving.
Be thankful of all your blessings.
True.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, X, sign us out. Like we say at the end of every episode.
Tune in next time for scenes from the next episode of the Hyperbolic Podcast, where Lewis and X dive into the world of Chainsaw Man.
Deuces, and we're out.
What you got?